Why that shape? Still lost teams out there. What based it on? Plus the teams and outlook on it. Tanya, can you hear us already?
Yes.
Okay, great.
All right. Yeah, let's do.
Because it's 15 minutes.
All right. All good? Go for it.
Yeah.
Guys, we can hear you. Woo! Woo!
Let's see a little bit.
Good morning, y'all can be seated. Can everyone hear me? Okay. Good morning and welcome to the AmeriCorps NCCC FEMA Corps graduation ceremony for class 31A. My name is Shenanja Duncan. I'm a graduating team leader with Ember 5 and I'll be your master of ceremonies. First, I want to give thanks to the campus staff here for their warm hospitality this last week and helping us have all what we need on short notice. So thank you guys for everything. And then next, I want to take a few moments to just share some remarks from my year of service. I started as a Corps member and then I was promoted to a TL. So I want to share from, the journey. Okay, so my biggest takeaway is that character is developed and follows you no matter what title you hold in life. Growth comes from taking initiative to ask for feedback and being receptive to what's shared. Be brave enough and willing to be challenged on ways you can improve. Then meet a new version of yourself you didn't know was there. Fail forward. Sometimes you'll mess up, royally too, but own it. Learn from it and try again. And then just try. Don't count yourself out. Excuse me. And then I want to thank everyone and shout out to our class for coming back. We had a very tumultuous year. That's no small feat. And if it was easy, everyone who we started with would have been here. So I want us to feel proud of that. It's not a light thing. And then lastly, I want to shout out my team, Ember 5. I know this year was a journey. We had a lot of ups and downs and surprises, but we handled it with grace. And you each taught me something new. So thank you guys for that. And thank you for allowing me to lead you to graduation because we made it in one piece. All right, so moving along, to start off today's ceremony, I'd like to introduce Andrea Gerwertzman, Senior Advisor with the Workforce Management Division of FEMA.
Good morning. Can you hear me in Denver?
Yes.
Perfect. Well, again, good morning, class 31A, and congratulations on completing your service term with AmeriCorps NCCC FEMA Corps. I really wish I could be there to celebrate with you today, instead of here in a conference room in DC. I am going out to Denver next week for Thanksgiving, so I have missed you by just a week. But again, congratulations. So I want to start by saying thank you from FEMA, from your POCs, and from the communities you've served. Over the last 10 months, you've shown resilience, adaptability, and a willingness to serve through uncertainty, the hallmarks of effective emergency management. From California to Florida to North Carolina, you've deployed where you were needed the most, serving on 7 disasters and supporting 8 of our regions and partners. Collectively, you've contributed over 40,000 hours of service. Each of those 1,500 JFO or CMS kits you assembled allows FEMA to support initial response requirements when a community's worst day comes. Each one of those 15,000 case reviews you conducted helps a survivor back into their home and on the road to recovery faster. And every one of the 700 applicant packets or project worksheets you reviewed and updated represents a bridge or a hospital or other vital infrastructure that allows our communities to rebuild. FEMA's mission is to help people before, during, and after disasters. And you advance that work every day. When you look back, I hope you feel the meaning behind your work. In a few months or a few years, when this whole experience feels like a blur, because it will definitely feel like a blur. Someday you'll look at the news and you'll see FEMA commodities moving to a disaster area. And I hope you kind of like look at that pallet and think, I bet I packed that pallet. But while our agency has been made better by the work that you did, I also sincerely hope that you've grown into better professionals and better public servants through this program. FEMA Corps isn't easy. It asks you to learn quickly and apply those lessons immediately while living and working with your team. The conflict resolution skills you used with survivors also guided you at the end of a long day with your teammates when you're arguing about whose turn it is to clean the crock pot in the kitchen sink. Planning and logistics didn't just stay at the JFO. They also showed up in like how you prepared for your next deployment, and even how you organize dinner for your gluten-free vegetarian team with a nightshade allergy. You've strengthened your communication, sharpened your problem-solving skills, and learned project management in real-world conditions. These skills will serve you wherever you go, whether you choose careers in emergency management, continue with federal service, or bring your talents to the state, local, nonprofit, or private sector roles. Finally, this year, you also invested in your relationships with your teammates, mentors, supervisors, and partners across FEMA and beyond. These connections are part of your readiness. Whatever you choose to do next, you're now part of the FEMA and FEMA Corps family. I was recently at a Friendsgiving full of FEMA Corps alumni, many of whom graduated more than a decade ago. Some of us work at FEMA, some don't, but we still lean on each other for jobs, housing, and life milestones more than a decade later. There was even a FEMA Corps marriage at the table. So that's the type of community you're joining. Welcome. So in the spirit of Thanksgiving, I'll just finish by saying, once again, thank you. Thank you for your service. We are so proud of you and look forward to seeing the impact you'll make as you go out into the world as the next generation of leaders. Congratulations for all you've accomplished, and we wish you luck and safe travels as you take your next steps.
Thank you, Andrea. Next up, I'd like to introduce Ken Goodson, the National Director of AmeriCorps NCCC.
Morning. How are you all? Good. Excellent. Good to see you. Andrea, I hope you enjoyed the Duke basketball game and the result as much as I did last night. Good morning, Class 31A. Pleasure to see you. Shananja, thank you for serving as MC. Much appreciated. Audrey and Janae, thank you in advance for sharing your reflections. I'm going to acknowledge a few groups who are a part of making it possible for us to be here this morning. You all started by referencing the staff that's here on campus. I'm going to talk about staff in general for a second. For those colleagues who are on campus, many of them were furloughed as a part of the government shutdown. So they flipped their computers on last Thursday, got to email 2,746 to find out that a Corps was coming to town. So the quick pivot, thank you for those of you who are Aurora-based and mobilizing quickly into action to receive the Corps. For colleagues who are on the screen from across the AmeriCorps universe, thank you very much for the work that you have done to support Class 31A to get to this milestone occasion. And for colleagues who are not on the screen or in the room today, but were a part of your service journey, whether that was onboarding you in Vicksburg or whether that was supporting you from headquarters over the course of your service term, but they're no longer with the agency. I want to acknowledge and thank them for the role that they had in making it possible for us to get to graduation. To our FEMA partners, for those of you in the field who hosted teams, thank you very much for the confidence you put in the NCCC FEMA Corps program. For our partners at headquarters, thank you for the 13 plus years of collaboration to make this program possible. And for the FEMA Corps branch staff, thank you for your day-to-day sweat equity into the future of FEMA Corps. It is seen, acknowledged, and appreciated. Family and friends, Danny, welcome to Colorado. Thanks for making the trip out from Baltimore. Thrilled to have family in the room. For those of you who are joining online, thank you for your support of your loved one, your friend, as they made it through what was an unprecedented and extremely challenging year of AmeriCorps service. Serving in AmeriCorps, particularly in the NCCC program, is difficult under the best of circumstances. 2025 presented a lot of circumstances that were less than ideal. Your support is greatly appreciated. For the Corps, let's pick up a conversation we had in Emmitsburg. I was thinking yesterday about what are different things that we could talk about as a part of graduation. I actually want to go back to Emmitsburg. So take a moment, if you can, and sort of ground yourself back when we were all at NCCC together. Robert Sullivan, Sully, had come up from FEMA headquarters. I had come out along with Mr. Alex Garcia and other colleagues to join you all in Tobias and reintegrating into the FEMA Corps program. Does that sound familiar? Cool, let's do this. We talked about three things at the time that were different as you merged back into traffic. And we talked about three things that were the same as you came back into the program. So let's revisit. As you came back in, we were at NCCC in Emmitsburg. That was not on the bingo card when you started your FEMA Corps service term. We talked about the fact that the AmeriCorps NCCC staff that you had started your term with numbered 115. And at the time you were coming back, it numbered about 38. And we talked about the fact that the demobilization of members, including you and your service-oriented colleagues, had taken place and impacted many who were looking for a continuity, understandably, in their service term. But we also talked about the three things that were the same. And those were that the mission of AmeriCorps NCCC to strengthen communities and develop leaders through service had not changed at all. We talked about the fact that the partnership with FEMA was still strong and intact. And if anything, the challenges of those times had forced us to be creative and figure out how we would make the program successful under less than ideal circumstances. The big one we drilled into is the fact that the need for disaster response, support, and assistance was still right there. So let's fast forward to today, and let's pick up three things that have changed. And let's talk about three that are going to be the same. Sound good?
Right on.
So what's changed? As we heard on Monday, communities in Texas, Kentucky, and in my home state of North Carolina were positively impacted as a result of what you did, of what your team did, and the fact that you answered the call for Helene survivors, for flood recovery victims in Texas, for those battling long-term disasters that may have drifted from the national headlines. Your work matters, and it made a difference. Something else that is changing is your status and your association with AmeriCorps. You're transitioning from member to alum. The alumni network from AmeriCorps for AmeriCorps is just something else. If I look around just the neighborhood here, the mayor of Denver, Colorado is an AmeriCorps alum. The newly directed mayor of Santa Fe, New Mexico, the capital of the state just to the south, is an AmeriCorps alum. The Air Force colonel who runs the ROTC program for the University of Colorado, the largest university in this state, is a Class II AmeriCorps NCCC. Something that's changing is you are joining a network of alums, of service-minded individuals, and no matter where you end up next in your journey, you're going to find those people, even if it is heading back to home. You're going to find those people, they're going to find you, and you're going to get things done. The thing that perhaps has changed most, and it may take time to see, is the impact that the experience has had on you. You have inevitably gained new skills. You have managed uncomfortable, ambiguous, and difficult situations. You were faced with adversity, and you persevered, and you have made a difference in the lives of others, your teammates, and your own life and your own leadership journey. So what's the same as we get to this milestone occasion? One of the things that stood out to me on Monday and talking to some of you, both in the debrief settings, but also in the hallway, is your commitment to service hasn't changed. When I met many of you at NCCC, I was struck by the fact that you were drawn into the program because you wanted to make a difference for others. And then talking to you here on Monday, the number of you who appear to be compassionate and motivated still about the fact that you can make a difference, positive difference in someone else's life, stays the same. The need across the country stays the same as well. Nico framed that out for us in a question I had about Western North Carolina, and is there ongoing need this far after the Helene recovery started? And whether it's in the disaster space, whether you're building homes for the homeless, whether you're helping to provide meals to those who are hungry, there is ample need across this country. And then the last one that stays the same, and Tanya is kindly going to close us out with this later this morning, is the AmeriCorps pledge doesn't change at all. It's never edited. It's your oath of office. You took it at the beginning of your service term, and you will finish with it later today. And it includes the very end, the last sentence, that your commitment is one that you carry with you this year and beyond. So welcome you to the first day of and beyond. Greatly look forward to seeing how you apply the skills and lessons that you have learned over your service term to making our country and your community a better place. And I'm fully confident that you will do so. Thank you very much for your service. It is a pleasure to be your colleague.
Thank you, Ken, for your remarks. Next, I'd like to introduce Janae Belk of Ember 2 and Audrey Eisenman of Ember 5 with member reflection on service.
Hi, everyone. As you know, I'm Janae of Ember 2. Shout out Ember 2. Yeah. I'm Audrey with Ember 5. Ember 5. And we're sharing this reflection together because we care about teamwork. Yeah. So in September of 2024, I experienced Hurricane Helene along with my brother's family. I remember it felt like a train rumbling above our heads the entire night of the storm. What impacted me even more was seeing the aftermath and the cleanup, the agencies and nonprofits helping the community. Helene hit, and 1 month later, I applied for AmeriCorps NCCC FEMA.
And I, like many of us, was a recent graduate who had absolutely no idea what I was going to do with my life. That's when I found FEMA and all it had to offer. This year comes with some amazing memories, like the ropes course during the Corps Training Institute. Of course, the day Tide unit went, it was freezing rain and snow, 30 degrees in Mississippi of all places.
Ocean unit, though, fortunately, gone the day when it was 60 degrees and very beautiful. But here we are at graduation, two great forces combined at the Ember unit.
I know all of us have learned so much through our service. A project that was really impactful for me was working with the direct housing team in Kentucky, providing housing to survivors. The people who get these units are the people who are so disproportionately affected by disaster. When a disaster strikes, some families really have nowhere to go. Seeing all the administrative work that goes in behind the scenes was really inspiring. It takes working together and perseverance. This disaster happened in February, and the team is still working to get people housed today.
I would say that a project that touched me the most was one of my independent service projects with an organization called One Generation Away. This nonprofit specifically works in disaster impacted areas, especially in the Southeast, and providing families with mobile food pantries, no questions asked. And I served there during the government shutdown in October. And as someone who came from a family who had to rely on food pantries, it meant a lot to me to be there for those in need. And I got to connect with the director of operations for the org. So who shared with me how he himself had to rely on food banks. And being able to talk with him about how his experience fed into his leadership meant a lot to me in my service.
Even in the small things, AmeriCorps NCCC FEMA Corps works to uplift the community, not only behind the scenes administratively, but also on the front lines.
2025 has been a challenging year. In April, we were demobilized and served through the longest government shutdown in America's history. Well, that was in October, but so this year for me was very, very rough. Fearing for the future is stressful, it's draining, and it's exhausting. If you were ever tired, if you were ever frustrated, if you were ever to the point of tears, you are not alone. Trust me.
And to the point of not being alone, I wanted to take a moment to recognize all the members who found a different path and decided not to return with us. I know some of you might be watching today. Even though you're not here with us right now, we still feel your presence with us today and throughout our service.
And even though this year was rough, I knew that I wasn't alone because heck, like a quarter of us came back and are graduating today.
So to all of you who decided to return, thank you for facing uncertainty with courage. It really takes guts to persevere in the face of adversity.
It was an absolute joy reuniting with all of you in July. I connected with my old team and made friends with my new.
I'm impressed with us. You've all shown an incredible amount of resilience, and each one of us is what makes FEMA Corps special.
Did you know that we completed 21,533 hours of service since July? And before that, we completed 64,852 AmeriCorps hours for a total of more than 86,000 hours. And despite the unknown, we returned to finish what we started. I'm so, so proud of you guys.
In closing, we might have left the disasters, but that does not mean the work is done. And that's why AmeriCorps FEMA Corps is so important.
The need for FEMA Corps is ongoing. Thank you to all of the staff at AmeriCorps and FEMA and to our families, friends, and supporters. We need each and every one of you.
Everyone always says that AmeriCorps forces you to grow so much, and it's really true. It gave me a direction and a path that I'm passionate about following, and I know it did for many of you too. I know we'll keep serving this year and beyond together wherever we are.
And so congratulations, we made it through. In our office in Asheville, our degree team would commonly say, go forth, do great things, and touch the mission.
And now, in 3 words we all know, let's get things done!
Hello? Thanks, Audrey and Janae. That was really great. Next up, we'll watch a short video highlighting some of the service we've accomplished this year as they shared in their reflection. And many thanks to A.B. Stewart from the Southern Region staff for pulling this together for us.
That was so bad. Aw. Give me the bag. Oh my goodness. It's nice. It's all us. I'm the only one who posted for the camera. All our photos were, all our videos were like. I guess they said that better. So small.
Thank you, AB, for that video. Next up, we'll hear a few words from our Ember Unit leader, Tobias Laponza.
So there have been some really good speeches this morning, so don't have like crazy high expectations because I don't know if I could beat Janae and Audrey. That was amazing. But I did want to say congratulations to all of you. I speak on behalf of all of staff when I say that we are incredibly proud of what you've accomplished this year. The 28 of you have persevered through more challenges than any of us anticipated, and you've come out stronger for it. You've adapted to last-minute project changes to meet evolving community needs. You've learned to navigate new teammates, leadership styles, and a new NCCC leadership chain. But most importantly, the 28 of you chose to return to service because of your unwavering dedication to developing your own emergency management skills and serving your country. AmeriCorps' mission is to develop leaders and strengthen communities. The 28 of you, by being here today, have absolutely achieved that goal. The growth that I've seen out of all of you in the past few months, as well as the impressive quantifiables that have demonstrated the work you've done for communities, is a testament to that. As you graduate today and move into your life after AmeriCorps, I encourage you to continue pursuing the spirit of service. America needs young people like you, people who are willing to work selflessly for long hours in the name of what they believe in. I know whether you go into federal, state, or local emergency management or private industry, the skills that you learned here will make you a leader within your field. And for the 9 current members who are continuing their service next year with Class 32A, we are very excited to have you and your skills returning to the program. Thank you all for your service and congratulations once again.
Thank you, Tobias. All right, so now we're going to conduct the presentation of certificates. Grizzly Unit Grizzly Unit Leader Sarah Muska will be reading names. Ember 1, please stand and line up.
Yes. James Yarborough. Amaris Perillo. Clark Banks. Brandon Fernandez. Ray Suber. Mario Tovar. Ember 2, Ty Johnson. Janae Bell. Keon Brown. Nico Markle. Samantha Quintero. Ember 4. Henry De La Cova. Nicole Barenhauser. Aaron Coleman. Taylor Ely. Ariel Marty. Zoe Nesbitt. Hosea Parr. Nate Rabosa. Ember 5. Shananja Duncan. Christian Bass. Audrey Eisenman. Tyrone Mason. Ember 6. Alyssa Blocker. Mary Ann Chingway. Isaac Ekman. Jacob Edgar. Grace O'Brien.
Thank you, Sarah. Okay. Now I'd like to welcome AmeriCorps NCCC Field Director Tanya Gibson-Nauman with our closing and pledge.
Thank you, Shananda. Can you all hear me okay? Okay, great. Well, congratulations, Class 31A. You did it. First, I want to take a moment to thank our guests for joining us both in person and virtually today. Andrea, thank you so much for joining and sharing your words with us. And to the FEMA and FEMA Corps section staff, thank you for your ongoing partnership and collaboration as we get this program back up and running. And to all the NCCC staff, both in the field, at headquarters, in the room, and online, thank you for everything you've done to get us here today. I think often of the comment that our deputy director said when we were trying to figure out how to bring your Corps back into service: we need to turn an omelet back into eggs. Many of the staff responsible for that unscrambling are on the line and in the room, in addition to many more people. So extra special thanks to everyone for making it happen. And to you, the Corps Class 31A, I'm so sorry that I couldn't be there in person. It was so great to meet you all in Emmitsburg, NETC, and it's wonderful to see you all make it here today. I'm honored to be able to address you all as we celebrate this incredible milestone. Graduation is always a moment of pride, but for this group, I feel like it means something even more profound. You didn't just complete a program or finish a set of requirements. You navigated through a time of tremendous change, uncertainty, and challenge. You are my 7th or 8th class of FEMA Corps, and every one of those years presented challenges and changes without a doubt. However, your class probably takes the cake in this area. You started off at one campus, and here you are finishing in another. You faced obstacles that no one could have predicted, and yet here you are, stronger, wiser, and more determined than ever. There were moments, I'm sure, when the path forward felt unclear, when there were more questions than answers, when the weight of the unknown made it hard to keep going, but you did it. You showed up, you came back, you adapted, you supported one another, and you kept moving forward, even when it would have been easier to stop. That's the definition of perseverance, and that is the power of commitment. And through it all, you didn't just survive, you grew. You discovered new strengths, new passions, new possibilities. You learned how to lead through uncertainty, how to stay grounded in your values, and how to rise when everything around you was shifting. I always love sitting in on the FEMA debriefs as you so swiftly recount and list off the many achievements and work you've accomplished, the acronyms, the complicated programs, the systems that you all learned in this short time frame is nothing short of amazing. It might be hard to see in the moment, but what you've learned and accomplished is truly impressive. I hope you are able to reflect back on your service and see how much you've grown and changed. These are the lessons that no textbooks or school can teach, and they will serve you for the rest of your life. So as you step into what comes next, I hope you carry this truth with you. You are capable of more than you know. You've already proven that. And the world needs your resilience, your creativity, and your courage. And I have no doubt that you will continue to rise to every challenge and make a meaningful impact wherever you go. So today we don't just celebrate your graduation, we celebrate your journey, your growth, and your future. And I truly wish you all the best in your future endeavors. I'm excited to see what you all accomplish next. I love hearing from alumni after they've left the program to see what the great things that they achieve. And I'm really excited that we're going to see so many of you again just in a couple months. You're ready to get back on this, this wild ride. So on behalf of AmeriCorps and NCCC, we thank you for your service and commitment. And now, as your last act as an AmeriCorps FEMA Corps member, it is time to say the pledge that you started the year with, the pledge that will drive you as you turn from member to alumni. So if everyone can join me by standing and raising your right hand and state the pledge with me. I will get things done for America to make our people safer, smarter, and healthier. I will bring Americans together to strengthen our communities. Faced with apathy, I will take action. Faced with conflict, I will seek common ground. Faced with adversity, I will persevere. I will carry this commitment with me this year and beyond. I'm an AmeriCorps member, and I will get things done. Congratulations, 31A. It's been an honor to be a part of your service, and I wish you the best of luck.
Thank you. you, Tanya. Okay, if everyone can please stay in the room, we're gonna take our last group picture
Let's actually do it outside.
outside.
Yeah.
Thank you, everyone.
Congrats, everybody.
Thank you for joining us.
That's, we can take them if you want.
Yeah.
I can see what's happening up there. And then I need them all to come back because I have a survey.